News Talk 1110 and 99.3 WBT proudly presents America's coolest conservative. Well, proudly could be stretching it a bit. Welcome to the TJ Ritchie Show.
Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters. It is that time. It is time. Time for what? I have no idea. I just thought that would sound cool if I said it. Just being earnest with you, just being earnest. I'm not really what you would call a polished radio professional. Now, the fellow that just did a show right before me, he is a polished radio professional. He's just a polished broadcast and print media professional. That Brett Jensen, ooh, he is something. And if you don't think he is, you ask him. He'll tell you. No. I'm kidding. He is great. He's awesome. But what was I supposed to be doing? Oh, I'm supposed to be talking about stuff, right? Well, last night I figured that I led off the show by talking about a big beef between two powerful leaders in our country. One would be President Trump, and then the other would be 26-year-old pop singer Sabrina Carpenter. So I didn't want to come out swinging that hard again tonight. But there is a story that is something that just screams the TJ Ritchie Show. I don't know how many of you have kept up with the quarter zip drama that has been going on culturally in the United States of America. Let me catch you up quickly. There is a website and social media account called World Star, and the full name is World Star Hip Hop. And it started out being just a social media account that was about rap music and fighting, but they do all kinds of stuff now. And a couple of weeks ago, there was an African American lady who was doing what they call a stitch, and she was showing on one side of the screen these young African American men who were wearing nice pants and quarter zip shirts with collared shirts underneath and ties. And she was complaining because they were trying to look like white men. So that is something you can say in America and nobody thinks anything about it. Nobody's going to complain. Nobody's going to try to cancel you or anything like that. You can always get away with trashing someone over their race and gender if they are white men. Okay? Now, in Axios the other day, now Axios, in my opinion, is pretty much a communist site. It's, ultra liberal. And it's written for people of small intellect. But sometimes it's useful. And they have this big story. And the cover of the little post that they have on their social media is Charlotte's own Cameron Newton. And Cameron Newton is dressed like Cameron Newton dresses, which is clown-like. But not quite as much like a clown. He's not wearing a costume like he normally does, because he's usually way out there with his outfits and he looks ridiculous. But this, he looks a little more conservative, a little dressy. He's got a stupid hat on. That's something he's going to always have, I guess. But the headline reads, Quarter Zips and Fedoras. Men of color redefine style and masculinity. Oh, men of color, you say, are redefining style. A style that is already a thing and has a definition. Right? Okay. All right, I got you. Axios, I got you. Then It goes to another slide in their post. It says, from Maryland Governor Wes Moore's sleek quarter zips to former NFL star Cam Newton's fedora line with Chicano designer Mashika, the message is clear. Elegance is the new rebellion. Okay. In this battle, this is the next slide, and it shows Drake all dressed up, the singer Drake, loosely defined singer Drake. In this battle, Drake's smooth, cosmopolitan, modern gentleman image is beating Kendrick Lamar's stripped down aesthetic of hoodies, jeans, and sneakers. The big picture, the quiet style revolution is unfolding across barbershops, brunches, and boardrooms, with high-profile men of color and influencers leading the way. How are you leading the way on something that is already established? And over in the caption, it reads, Black and Latino men are trading in hoodies and sneakers for quarter-zip sweaters, tailored suits, and fedoras. A sharp, self-assured look that signals dignity, intentionality, and a reimagined masculinity in the post-COVID era. But it's an error. Why it matters? It's pushing back against decades of narrow stereotypes that linked urban masculinity to athletic gear and reclaiming pride through presentation. You see, they will go as far as they need to go to keep from just having to say these celebrity black men and Latinos are following in the footsteps of their corny, cornball white brothers before them. I wear a bunch of quarter zip shirts, sweaters and stuff. I just started doing that. You know why? Because I just realized, okay, well, I may be old enough to wear those now. Okay? I didn't say that I'm pushing some new style. The style is already there. Styles come and go. But this one, the quarter zip, I mean, why can't you just say the new hip, trendy style for men of color is taken from men of no color? Is it so hard to give white men credit for anything? Then I'm going to tell you this. If you are not at least 65 years old and you put on a fedora, you look like an idiot. Only old men can get away with wearing a fedora and not look ridiculous. Thank you very much. I have spoken. All I'm saying is, we're not the enemy. The white man is not the enemy. In this case, the white man has led the way for the cool, hip brothers. How about a little recognition? How about that? Cameron, Newton, Drake, Axios. So all of you men who get ready to go to some Christmas parties you don't want to go to, but your wife says that y'all need to go, and you got your little burgundy quarter zip sweater ready to go, you stop and think about the trend that you are setting. You are leading the way. You are a pioneer for the young black celebrity man and Latinos. Be proud. Pop the collar on that quarter zip sweater. Pop it. Leave it popped. Strut in there with your chest out and go, yeah, I'm a fashion influencer. Hell yeah. Hang on, we got more coming up next.
More of the TJ Ritchie Show is coming up. Radio, podcasts, and cool social media content. Get all the TJ you can handle at WBT.com/TJ. Now, back to the TJ Ritchie Show on News Talk 1110 and 99.3 WBT.
Okay, 704-570-1110 is the number if you want to call or text. The text line is driven by, a.k.a. sponsored by Liberty Buick GMC. One more follow-up thing about the quarter zip saga that's going on. It's got our country gripped in controversy. Wouldn't you know it, that one of the whitest of all white young men who is part of the WBT family, producer Andrew, is wearing a quarter zip as we speak. So, just a coinky-dink, as the kids say. I'm telling you, they're culturally appropriating us. Cam Newton, Drake, the governor of Maryland, everybody. Culturally appropriating the white man and his quarter zip. I'm kidding. Okay. So, the Democrats are desperate. They're desperate to get the country back to thinking that they're not just complete and total slime balls. Or I'm sorry, to get the country to falsely believe that they're not a bunch of slime balls. So how do they do that? They never come out and say, this is why we are better, or this is why our ideas are better than the Republicans. This is why you should elect us, because our ideas will work better than the Republicans. No, they don't do that. They say Republicans' policies are killing people. Republicans are racist. And the climate is killing millions and millions of people every minute, and it's the Republicans' fault. They never can just go out and state their merits and say, we're better. This is why you should elect us. And you know why? Because they're not. They know that they have absolutely zero when it comes to endearing qualities of principles that would make the country better. So, of course, when President Trump says we're going to go and we're going to clean out Minnesota and their fraudulent behavior and stealing money from taxpayers and all, because all these Somalis that are there, that are perpetrating these frauds and stuff, they're going to be deported. If they got into the country by forging documents and doing things illegally, they got to go. No more safe refuge for the Somalis. Well, the number one Somali had to come out and do what she does. She didn't say, hey, I'm number one Somali girl here, and I know what's going on. I know how to fix things. Nope. This is what she said. Omar, that's Ilhan Omar, talking about President Trump. Cut 19, go.
He's been a racist, a bigot, a xenophobic, and Islamophobic. We know that he called African nations hole in his first administration. We know that when he came down that escalator, he said he was going to stop Muslim immigration into this country. And so it is not surprising that he is going after black immigrants in this country. And it's certainly not surprising that he's choosing a black immigrant community that is also Muslim. But what I would like to say is that most of us are citizens. On our passport, it says we are nationals of this country. We love that Minnesota has welcomed us. Many of us have not been settled in Minnesota. We chose it as a home because the Minnesota people and the state is beautiful and very welcoming. And we are going to be here regardless of what the president has to say.
No, you're not. And did you hear how she caught herself in that, where she said, into this country, it is almost like she was going to say this country that we love, but she caught herself in this country, and we love Minnesota, the people of Minnesota. She would have probably choked as if she had just been given cyanide and fallen flat out on the floor if she had to say the words, America is a country I love, America is a great country. She would not be able to do it. Never, ever. But there she goes with the tired old, and then she's trying to drag black Americans into it as well, because now she's referring to Somalis as black Muslims or black Somalis. When she was talking against ICE and their taking of Latino illegal aliens, she was brown then, right? So she has absolutely no foundation to anything. He's a racist. He's a xenophobe. He's, always said he was going to stop immigrating Muslims. I don't think that's what he said when he came down the escalator. I mean, that was a while back, but I don't remember that. I know he said you can't have a country with a wide open border, but I don't know that he specifically said, I'm going to stop Muslim immigration. And then you got something here by one of the I think this is one of the stupidest national figures that we have in America today. And I don't know how anybody on either side of the political aisle takes him seriously. It's D.L. Hughley, former comedian and now radio host D.L. Hughley. I will, from this point forward, be referring to him as Dumb L. Hughley. He posts stuff like this all the time. Ain't it weird how the same people who justified a black man having a knee on his neck for 9 minutes justify firing a missile at a couple of brown dudes hanging on onto smoldering wreckage? So he's talking about this drug boat from Venezuela. But again, the racism, charges of racism are there because that's all they know how to do. Dumb L. Hughley, if you tried to get him to make a solid, factual, political argument, I think he would poop his pants. He would be so confused and so lost. All he can do is cry racism, racism, racism. So George Floyd is what he's talking about. And firing a missile, it wasn't firing a missile and killing drug smugglers on a boat. It was just some brown dudes hanging on to some smoldering wreckage. You see the connection there? The people who would justify George Floyd's death are the same ones who want to kill or are justifying killing these poor, innocent drug cartel people. How about we look at it this way, dumb L? George Floyd died because he had so much fentanyl in his system. if it weren't for these couple of brown dudes and the types that they are hanging out onto smoldering wreckage, maybe George Floyd would still be alive. Because that fentanyl wouldn't have been in this country. You ever think about that? Dumb L? Now, in all candor, Dumb L. Hughley is way, way, way more important with this company that I'm representing at the moment than I am. So every time I say disparaging things about him, I'm worried that I'm going to get in trouble. But, you know, you can't argue with the facts. And I state the facts. I'm TJ the realist Ritchie. That's what I am. So hang on, we got more coming up.
The TJ Ritchie Show. Identifying liberalism and mocking it relentlessly. This is the TJ Ritchie Show. On News Talk 1110 and 99.3 WBT.
Oh, yeah. The green-eyed patriot laying it down. Maybe for the last night. Maybe for the last night. I don't know. But I mean, that's it's one of the benefits of having this small, close-knit group of people with only 11 listeners is that, you know, I can say things that are super, super controversial or that would rub people the wrong way who are in high places that could harm me or whatever. And nobody knows about it. I mean, it's just us. But I mean, I ain't scared. It is what it is. I'm just telling the truth, just being a truth sayer. That's all. That's all I'm doing. Okay. We got just a little segment here that we will refer to as Liberals in the Wild. One of them is a clip of a guy that goes around talking to people on the street. And he asks them questions about, you know, what type of people would you not date, or who are the most problematic people in our country? And most of the time they say white people on both of these answers. But this one just happened the other day, and it's a young woman. She's cute. She's got tattoos and stuff like that. But she is cute. And this was her answer to his question. Cut 17, go.
What is one race you would not date?
White people.
White people? Why?
You can read a history book for that, but we don't got to get too political.
You can go political if you want.
No, that's it.
Read a history book. That's her answer. And I've been saying that with this continuation of pushing the agenda that America is systemically racist and that the white people, and especially the white men, are the most heinous creatures on earth. They're having to create these things because it's not happening. If he asked that girl, when has a white person done you wrong because of, you know, your skin color? She's Latina. She wouldn't be able to. She can't even answer why white people are bad other than read a history book. You see, because she's young and it's been pounded into her head that white people did all of this stuff in the past, and what they did in the past has carried over subconsciously, even in some cases, to today. And the reason that you are not everything you want to be is because of white privilege, white supremacy, and all of this stuff. So I would suspect that if you ask that girl what she wants to be, what her dream is, her dream would be to be some sort of a big celebrity or something like the Kardashians. Okay? So the fact that she's not like the Kardashians is the fault of white people, which has been handed down for generations. I guarantee you she has never been done wrong by a white person because of her skin color. I guarantee you she hasn't. But it's all the propaganda that these professional Democrats, white and black, have put into people's heads their entire lives. Because as a person that keeps up with not just the news, but things like that, I'm interested in the cultural things like that. I always look at these situations and go, where have you experienced this racism of which you speak? Where has it happened? Give me specifics. I haven't been around a racist white person, or not a racist white person, but a bigoted white person. The definition of a racist is somebody who believes that by birth, their race is superior to all others. So again, not liking people because they're a certain race doesn't make you a racist. It makes you a bigot. Okay? That all got changed up as well. So when have you experienced this? Give me the specifics of when a white person has been bigoted toward you. I bet you'd get answers like, well, they don't even look at me when I walk past them on the sidewalk. And I see that all the time on social media. You know, people trying to go viral with their videos. And of course, it's an easy target to start talking crap about white people. And they say stuff like that. And it's just stretching to find something. Because the widespread systemic white racism does not exist. And because it doesn't exist, they have to make up all these things that they call white supremacy or white privilege that really isn't. They teach these kids that white people didn't build anything in this country. White men, all they were was slave owners and this, that, and the other. Well, that's not true. Not even a little bit. This country it is the greatest country when it comes to freedom and prosperity that has ever existed. It was conceived and put together by white men, like it or not. I even saw a video the other day, it may have been Ilhan Omar, saying that this country was built on the backs of Somalians. What? Somalians have been here 11 minutes. But when you're constantly poisoning the minds of kids the whole time they're growing up, and then you're telling people that whatever problems you have in this world, whatever lack of money you have, and all, it's the fault of white supremacy, white privilege, and all. Then you just automatically get people who believe it and spew it when it's time. And who knows? Maybe this girl said she wouldn't date white people because, that's the cool thing to say. And she couldn't come up with a real reason. So she said, check the history books. So until we figure out a way to stop those mind poison tactics, it's going to just keep getting farther and farther because, they always say, the professional Democrats always say, nobody wants to talk about race. You know who used to always say that? Eric Holder, that demon. Demon. Eric Holder. They don't want to talk about race. Don't want to talk about race. Don't want to talk about race. And then everybody's going, well, what are you talking about? That's all you do is talk about race. That's all we do. We talk about race, how bad white people are, how bad minorities have it in this rotten country. But that didn't mean you don't talk about it. It means that you don't just go with what they say. Eric Holder could say, all white people need to give up everything they have to the next family of color that walks into their yard. And if the white people go, no, we're not doing that. Well, you don't even want to talk about race. And ultimately, the racism, the bigotry is on the Democrat side. When you poison someone's mind and tell them that they are where they are because of not any fault of their own or not because they didn't take the right path, but because somebody else is keeping them there because of bigotry, then all you're doing is telling them they don't have a chance at all, no matter what they do. And you keep them in this constant state of, is a constant state of mind numbness where they don't even have the desire to reach individual greatness. I mean, what good would it do? They think. So yeah, Eric Holder is a demon, and the Democrat Party and all of their allies use these tactics as a weapon. They're holding their own people back and blaming it on us. Now, I do have a clip of a liberal white woman freaking out, and a story from Governor Kotex, Tina Kotex, the governor of Oregon, that's going to just knock you out whenever you hear how stupid it is. That's all coming up next. Hang on.
It's TJ Ritchie. Late, live, and local. It's the TJ Ritchie Show on News Talk 1110 and 99.3 WBT.
All right, look at this. We got the full show tonight. That's awesome. Not being interrupted by basketball or football shows or whatever. Now, Friday night, I'm going to be outside the big WBT radio ranch, freezing with Hancock's Bikes for Kids. Not for adults, for kids. And Lonnie has promised me that there will be chips, which is worth, worth everything.
Yes.
He said, we're going to have chips. Oh, do tell.
And cocoa.
And Coke. Ooh. Well, I can't have any of that because, I'm on the diet, but it's good to be offered it anyway.
Sometimes we might have a little bit of that fancy warm cider,
Yeah. But I don't know how much I'm going to be outside, because isn't the inside just right there? Yeah. I mean, if the inside is right there, why would you be outside? I don't know. I don't like conditions like that, but whatever. We'll see. But this will be your opportunity to meet a star. Actually, more like catch a falling star. Because I used to be somebody and I'm no damn body now. So that would be something, But no, we're going to have a good time and hopefully collect a lot of bikes for kids for this Christmas. Now, there's a woman sitting in her car and she's wearing a hat that reads FDT. Okay. Now, I'm going to tell you what the T stands for, and you can figure out the rest of it. FDT, the T stands for Trump. And she's a crazy, brain-dead liberal, maniac. And she's talking into the camera of her phone while sitting in her car. And this is the rant on which she goes. Cut 17, go.
Red hat ladies, are you okay? Hey, I've gotten flipped off by two red hat ladies. They weren't wearing the hat, but they sure proved who they were for flipping me off because I have an FDT sticker on my car. But today it was more about my hat because I walked by her car apparently to put my away, and she didn't like it. So she, with her whole chest, her fat sitting in the front seat of her car was like this to me. And I laughed at her out loud. Ma'am, I need you to know something. I get the off upsetting you guys. It is actually one of my favorite pastimes. In fact, I literally get a boost of dopamine that lasts hours after your panties get in a bunch because I have a sticker or a hat that says the person who is literally destroying millions of lives. Okay? You look weak and stupid. Okay, thanks.
Okay. Couple of things here. First of all, she's got the double whammy here with an annoying voice and an annoying accent. Okay, so that is kryptonite most of the time. And the other thing is that she's lying. It didn't happen. She made that up. She's obviously desperate for attention, or she wouldn't be wearing around the hat and all. It's the same reason that liberals put bumper stickers all over their cars, is because they want attention and they want people to think that they're informed and they want people to think that they matter. It's just a cry for attention. And you know good and well, women didn't walk up to her because she has a dirty hat on that insults the president and flip her off. You know that did not happen. She's wanting the attention. She gets in her car, makes it seem like it just happened because she's got a sticker on her car. You know what? I assume she has many stickers on her car. You know, that's what they think. They think that they can put these bumper stickers all over their cars and really change the world. And have you ever noticed when we have these clips of these crazy liberal women, how much they cuss because they're trash? They're white liberal trash is what they are. And this woman needs a net thrown over her and taken to the nearest psych ward. Not because of the freak out that she just had, because I think that was all, like I said, that was all fake. But because she's so desperate for attention that she's willing to do something like that, make it all up, fake it, do the whole thing. She needs some kind of therapy. And I mean old school therapy, not new school therapy where they just take you in and, they never cure you or never tell you anything that's going to fix you or anything like that. They're not, not the kind of scamster therapy that they have today. The real old school therapy where they say, look, you're a nut and we've got to fix you. Okay. Now I'll quickly get this in about Governor Tina Kotex in Oregon. She is a lesbian, and she has now declared that Christmas will now be replaced statewide with something called inclusive winter observance. So according to Tina Kotex, Christmas needed to be, quote unquote, modernized because traditional joy, warmth, and cheer were simply, quote unquote, too unregulated. Oh, too unregulated. Under the new rules, Christmas trees are now seasonal vertical botanicals. Santa has been rebranded as the seasonal redistribution specialist. Now, I'm reading this, and surely it has to be a joke, right? I mean, it is written like a piece of satire. So maybe it is. Maybe it is. But maybe it's not. So I guess during the break, I'm going to do some more investigating. And whether it is or not, the condition of the brainless liberal of today makes it completely believable on its face. Right? And I'm going to be honest with you, I just like her name and pointing out that she's a lunatic. Governor Tina Kotex. What can I say? But inclusive winter observance. Happy inclusive winter observance to you and yours. From all of us here at WBT. Hang on. Hour 2 starts momentarily.
More of the TJ Ritchie Show is coming up. News Talk 1110 and 99.3 WBT proudly presents America's coolest conservative. Well, proudly could be stretching it a bit. Welcome to the TJ Ritchie Show.
Well, here we are, hour 2, ladies and gentlemen. I just had a thought. I think I'm going to try to do something that Rush Limbaugh used to do. In the second hour of his show every day, he would fire up what he would call his 1 o'clock cigar. And so he had 3 hours. I only have 2. So my second hour, I'm going to start firing up my 8 o'clock cigar. Now, since my studio is in my home, I will have to lock the door so my wife doesn't come in here in a rage because I'm smoking in the house. Because I don't have any kind of special ventilation or anything. It would just be me sitting up in here looking like Cheech and Chong, blowing clouds. Yeah, right. Like I could get away with that. That woman's a Hellcat. That woman I'm married to. Woo! Hellcat, you hear me? So, it's been proven, it's a fact that liberal women are one of the biggest problems that our freedom faces, one of the biggest obstacles to freedom and liberty in the United States, especially liberal white women. They're just, as I always say, they got squirrels in their heads. They're psychos. Absolute psychos. We have some that are lined up here from the audio clips that will prove that. Just on the street interviews of liberal women. And this is what they sound like. Here we go. Cut 10. Go.
Do you want to be known in history as part of the Nazi movement? Go ahead.
The cartels agree with you, miss. They would love no enforcement on the southern border.
Oh, really?
Yep.
That's not the southern border. These are people that... Do you have a housekeeper?
Enforcing...
Do you go to a car wash? Do you have work done on your house?
Yeah. So you need...
Who does that?
You're talking about you need your cheap illegal labor. I'm saying that's wrong to exploit illegal labor.
Okay. Well, who's going to do that labor? Are you? You're going to start doing hard work? Because I doubt it. You walk around with a microphone like you're doing something.
Yeah, you don't need illegal immigrants to do low-wage work. In fact, that's what suppresses wages.
Yeah, okay.
So, it always goes back to that. The effete snobs, these liberal white women, they're always worried about who's going to do the labor. That's why they're protesting ICE. Who's going to clean your house, who's going to do your gardening, who's going to wash your car, who's, so forth and so on. But you challenge them and challenge their moral superiority, and then they just don't know how to react. All right, so this is in New York. It is a goofy looking I'm not really describing this woman because I want to make fun of her as much. I mean, she is goofy looking, but she's wearing looks like Joseph in the Technicolor Dream coat. She's super, super skinny, short black hair, standing next to a liberal man wearing a puffy coat, a horseshoe balding situation going on. And they're both out in the street protesting ICE. Now, she looks to be super wealthy, and I don't know what he is, but this is just so typical of brain dead liberals. And their emotions being their arguments, not having the facts. Listen.
Can we ask why you're out here today?
We're out here today because there is an ICE raid, and New York City is doing the work of ICE, protecting ICE as they do illegal work to tear families apart in New York City. And as New Yorkers, we're not going to stand for that.
Is it illegal to enforce immigration law?
Okay, we're done.
Oh, okay,
we're
please
done.
don't touch the microphone.
Okay, well, who are you?
I'm a reporter. We have the right to enforce our immigration law?
You're such a f***ing dork. You're such a dork.
You guys aren't very articulate. What do you think about...
He asked you a question. Answer it. Is he a criminal?
Relax a little bit.
No, I'm not going to relax.
Why are you out here today?
To protest.
Hey, I asked you a question.
What are you with?
I'm here for, I don't know, it's a nice day, beautiful neighborhood. How about yourself?
We're out here talking to protesters.
Oh, yeah? How's it going?
Pretty good.
Yeah?
A little cold. Yeah. Do you think the United States has the right to enforce its immigration law?
Mm-hmm.
It does?
Yeah.
So why is that not what's happening here, in your opinion?
Yeah.
Such a goober.
Yeah, that's their argument. You're such a dork, is what the first rich lady said. You're such a dork. And then starts cussing. And then the rest of the crowd, you're a goober. Which, the guy is brown. He's very brown. And I think that's racism. First of all, to be insulting the man like that. And then this other guy just seems like he's on some kind of dope or something. This is just a nice day, part of the protest. You see, that's that that thing again where they just want to matter. They want to belong to something. They want to feel like they're part of something. They want to feel like they're part of something, but they don't really have the guts to be courageous and to stand up for something just and true. They want to run around calling what ICE is doing by detaining illegal aliens, and they call that illegal. These illegal tactics. All right, so we have one more, and I think this young lady pretty much is the poster child for the education system in America and the indoctrination mills that we have called public schools. Listen.
Liberal or conservative?
Liberal, all the way. Conservatives hate gay people. They
base everything off the Bible and off of religion. Like, do we really know if those things really happened? Did Noah's Ark really happen? We don't know if the animals went to the boat when there was a rainstorm. Like, no, liberals are better, in my opinion. As you can tell, I'm a liberal. We care more and we have more compassion, and conservatives just care about money more, and just they're so close-minded. I feel like liberals are more open-minded.
Yeah. You see, just spewing out what's been, somebody put a funnel in her ear and just dumped all of that stuff in her head. Jumping up and down, liberal, liberal, liberal. We're more compassionate. Oh, okay. Where do you have the proof of that? But here's the thing. That girl could walk in to a Democrat party boss's office and say, I want to run for the U.S. Congress of my district. They would bring her in, dress her up, put her out there, and she would get a large amount of votes. That's where we are now. I mean, this demon witch that was just running for in the special election for Congress in Nashville, for the Nashville district. I mean, we barely escaped probably what would be the worst congressperson in office, even worse than Omar and Tlaib and Sandy Cortez. But they just throw them out there. Democrats will vote for them. Democrat, Democrat, Democrat. Got to vote Democrat. It's stupid. And, it would be funny if it didn't affect the rest of us in a negative way. The smart people, the people who love liberty and freedom and everything this country is about. Just be a bunch of dumb liberals over there for our amusement, but what they do affects us. We gotta save them from themselves. That's what we need to do. We're the compassionate ones, All right, so I have another clip of someone else who is showing exactly how wrong this woman was that just said that conservatives are compassionate, and liberals are more compassionate than conservatives, and they're more welcoming, and whatever else she said. We all know that's a lie because we know how mean liberals are and how vicious they are. But this woman is telling what her experience is with it firsthand. You're going to love it. So it's coming up next. Hang on.
The TJ Ritchie Show. He's radio royalty in the Carolinas and Queen Charlotte's sweetest prince. It's TJ Ritchie on News Talk 1110 and 99.3 WBT.
Yes, the green-eyed patriot. Look good, smell good, make love good. That's a quote from the godfather of soul, soul brother number one, James Brown, ladies and gentlemen. And I find it to be applicable to myself. Okay, I'm going to be honest with you because I always am. I talked up this big audio clip that I have that proves that that the liberals are not the compassionate ones. And then I looked and I realized that I didn't send the clip to Lonnie Ray and Andrew to put into the system. So I don't have it yet. I will. They're working on it now. I hate doing that, I try to have everything to them in plenty of time, so they're not in a time crunch, because they've got 1,000 other things to do, and then I end up doing something like that, and I apologize to them, because you see, I'm not like all of the other hosts on this radio station. I mean, I don't order them around and expect them to snap to it and cave to my every demand, and I don't cuss them out like all the rest of the shows do, the hosts. I mean, I try to treat them like people. Don't I, Lonnie Ray?
Yeah, man. Yes, sir, you do.
Yeah, and so I don't act like all of those other ones. I treat y'all with respect.
Yes, you do.
Like we're family.
We are.
Now, I'm not going to say which of the other WBT hosts treat their producers and the staff like crap, but let me just say their initials are every one of them. That's their initials. And one is just as bad as the other. One's not worse. They're all bad. They're all terrible. And I don't know how these poor people work for them, to be honest with you. I just don't know. I ask myself that every day. How many times has any of those other hosts given you a TV, Lonnie? A smart TV?
None.
None. I just brought them to work one night for Lonnie and Isaac. Here's a smart TV for each of you. Thank you for the service you provide me. That's what I said.
It was truly appreciated. Thank you, sir.
Now, even though I know Lonnie probably went right home and sold it to somebody.
Not even. Not even, man. Actually, man, that thing's sitting in my closet. I got to find somewhere good to, something good to do with it, man.
Yeah. Well, that's understandable. It was only about 3 months ago. I know you've been busy. Still in the closet. It's like my uncle. Still in the closet. But no, I'm just kidding. The other hosts are nice. Most of them. All right. So, the lady in the clip that we played earlier was saying how, and they all think this, they all think that conservatives are mean and greedy and underhanded and all of this stuff because it's been programmed into them by the government school system. And it was programmed into their parents from the government school system and all to always blame their shortcomings, whether it's the fault of the individual or not. It could be somebody else's fault, but they always want them to blame white people and conservatives, Republicans. Okay. So I've always said that conservatives are way more willing to be friends with liberals than the other way around. We are far more accepting of them than they are of us. And this lady just had this experience happen to her. Listen.
Something funny about being more openly conservative now is that I'll have liberal friends or like people that I was friends with that are very liberal reach out to me and be like, I can't be your friend anymore. I didn't know we had such different opinions. And it's like, I knew we had such different opinions, and I can still tolerate you. Even though I would say objectively your opinions cause more harm, globally, societally, but I can still tolerate you as a person. I can see past the opinions for the most part. I feel like it just reeks of low IQ. Like, you can't have a conversation about the opinions. You can't, even be in the same room as someone with different opinions, because why? Why? You feel like they'll challenge you? You can't stick up for your views enough. Like, it's so lame.
Yeah, it's because their views are psychotic. They're crazy. And no, they can't defend them because you can't defend irrationality. That's why. But did you hear what she said in the beginning? That is so telling. And it has frustrated me my whole life. Now that I am more openly conservative, in other words, now that I'm not feeling like I have to hide my conservatism, my principles as much, thank you, Donald Trump, I'm seeing all these libs that I'm friends with discriminating against me now. But they are the ones who are more open-minded. They're the only ones who are open-minded. They're the ones with the moral authority, the moral superiority. And I hate it. I hate it when somebody comes up to me in public and they say that they're a fan of the show or whatever, and then they lean in and go, we think the same way politically. We're on the same page politically. And I'll always say, don't whisper that. That's not something you should have to whisper. Shout it from the mountaintops. You know why? Because we're the way you should be. We're conservatives, by God. We're patriotic, America-loving conservatives. The other ones are the ones that belong in the nut house. Not us. Our way is the way of compassion. Our way is the way of equality, not theirs. The left is anti-equality. Even though they spew that they want equality, they really don't. Because their ways of going about it flies in the face of equality. You see, the liberal leaders, so-called, in this country think that regular Democrats are too stupid to be able to live their lives on their own. They think that they are intellectually superior, so they have to control how we live our lives. That's what communism is all about. That's what socialism is all about. So they're not for equality. They're for control. Now, which one's more compassionate? The conservative principles that say, I'm no better than you, you're no better than me, we have the same opportunities in this country, and good luck to you. I hope you make it as far as you can make it, and I don't care what color you are. But get out there and get it. And I'm going to try my best to get the government out of your way so you can go do it. Or is it more compassionate to say, oh, you shouldn't even try. The deck is always stacked against you in this oppressive country that was built by slave-owning white men, and you've never stood a chance. All you have is the little bit that we can give you as the government. We can force people to give us something to give you. You're never going to better yourself, but what little you have is going to come from us because we care. We're compassionate. Which one's more compassionate? For us to say, get government out of our way and we'll all take off as fast as we can, or their way? That's pretty obvious. And I got to be honest, at my age now, 56, I'll just say there is a difference in intellect between the liberal mind and the conservative mind. They're weak-minded for the most part. They could be great people, but they're weak-minded, and that's why they're easy targets for communists and socialists. There, I said it. Like Mark Levin would say, that's right, I said it. Okay. I'm running late for this break, so let's go ahead and take that before I get in trouble. Got more coming up.
It's TJ Ritchie. He's America's coolest conservative. Welcome to the TJ Ritchie Show on News Talk 1110 and 99.3 WPT.
Whoa, man, whoa. Having fun. The fun has just begun. Actually, that's not true. We've been going for more than an hour and a half now. So the fun has not just begun. I'm just sitting here babbling. Sometimes I hear voices in my head. All right. So thank you for listening. I really appreciate it. And hold on. Let me look at something here. Oh, never mind. It's not there. Okay. I told you earlier, and I've been talking about how when the Democrats really start pushing because they want to get votes, which the midterm elections will be coming up next, and they really pull out all the stops. Those stops are Republicans are racist. Every criticism of Democrats is because the Republicans are racist. Anything that is about law enforcement is racism. And whatever Republicans are doing is causing people to die. Either people are already dying, have died, or will die. So this is just how rotten the Democrat politicians are, the professional Democrats, to just start spewing all that, scaring people to death. They don't care about the well-being of anybody, including the ones that vote for them. They're all narcissists, and they just, will say and do anything. But they do have these, tried and true methods of making Republicans out to be racists and killers. And one of the ways of doing that is they start bringing out all the climate change stuff. Oh, the planet is in peril. Well, they dusted off John Kerry and put him in front of a phone camera to deliver a message to people. That message is climate crisis is killing hundreds of thousands of people. Cut 13, go.
There's really no polite way to put it. The climate crisis is killing people. It is knowingly, wittingly allowing people to die and infecting them with disease and providing them with air that kills people because we're not willing to take the steps necessary to do what we know we need to do.
Okay, stop. What that means is we're not willing to take the steps. The steps are complete control of people's personal lives through government iron-fisted dictates like the Green New Deal. The government controlling where you have your thermostat set. The government controlling how you get to and fro. The government controlling what kind of stove you can and cannot have. The government controlling ceiling fans in your house. The government controlling everything. That's what he's talking about. Because he's a big Frankenstein-looking communist. Okay, continue.
And every year now, millions of people around this planet are dying because fossil fuel and methane emissions, called greenhouse gas pollution. Those methane emissions and CO2 emissions and nitrous oxide and other emissions are escaping into the atmosphere, being fed by the way in which we continue to choose to fuel our vehicles, propel our vehicles, heat our homes, light our factories, and so forth.
It's all there. And again, this coming from a man who travels in a motorcade with nary electric car to be found and flies all over the world in private jets, making a huge carbon footprint. So you see, they always come back to that because that climate change thing is their baby. That's what gives them the most control over us. If they get all of their climate change wishes, the climate change laws put into place, save the climate crisis. Everything's a crisis. Oh, my God, it's a crisis. What about the climate crisis? What about the immigration crisis? What about the healthcare crisis? That's how they take control of us. The most control in the fastest way. That's how they seize it. Centralized federal government. Telling you have to get on an electric bus to get to work. Telling you have to get on a train where if you're a white woman, you could get stabbed in the neck and have your life snuffed out. The climate crisis. So they choose these words. They change the definition of words. It's all about the language that they can convince people to start using. And they tried to do this at a press conference the other day with the great Ron DeSantis, who hopefully will be President Ron DeSantis someday. And he was not having it. Cut 18. Listen.
Florida is home to hundreds of thousands of undocumented immigrants who are working in.
Well, so the federal government has made clear that the statutory term, it's not they're illegal aliens. That's the statutory term, and that's what it is. And I think it's to try to water down. I mean, like, undocumented, it's like if I get in my car and I forget my wallet, okay, I don't have my document on me, like my driver's license, but I mean, I still have a right to drive. I just made a mistake. This is intentional to come in illegally. And it's not just a question of missing a document. It's a question of, you violated the law that were very clear, and knowingly, and with the help of the cartels in many cases.
So you see, they use undocumented immigrants. You started out being undocumented workers, undocumented migrants, and it softens it, It softens it. Well, no. They're illegal aliens. You cannot be an undocumented immigrant. If you are an immigrant, that means you're in the country legally. You've got your documents. That would be like saying that I am a skinny fat person. The two can't be the same. If you're documented, you're an immigrant. Documented immigrant is redundant. Undocumented means you're here illegally, so you're an alien, an illegal alien. Words mean things, words matter. And I love the fact that Governor, future President, God willing, Ron DeSantis doesn't just let that slide. Because people go, oh, he's just nitpicking. I'm a conservative and all, but I mean, come on, that's a little excessive, right? Stopping down to just correct the man about what he's saying. No, it matters. It matters. Thank you, Governor, hopefully future President DeSantis. You're my boy. You're my boy, Ron. Way to go. All right, one segment left. We'll see what we can screw up next. Hang on.
The TJ Ritchie Show. Radio, podcasts, and cool social media content. Get all the TJ you can handle at WBT.com/TJ. Now, back to the TJ Ritchie Show on News Talk 1110 and 99.3 WBT.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, we are in the final segment, but look, it's a pretty long segment. It's pretty lengthy. So our time is not up. No. We still have a few minutes to enjoy one another. And isn't that why we're all here? All 12 of us, you 11 listeners, and I, your host. We're here to enjoy one another. Not in the same way that these three people in the Keys, the Florida Keys, were enjoying one another last Saturday. They were arrested after they were caught having what the kids call threesome in a supermarket parking lot. It wasn't happening in the middle of the night. It was around noon. So, yeah, pretty brazen, you might say. It was a 45-year-old woman, a 43-year-old man, and another 59-year-old man. All three were drunk and were charged with disorderly intoxication, indecent exposure, lewd conduct in public. The woman, named Sharon, was also charged with resisting without violence. So police say Sharon has done this kind of thing before. Oh, see, now that's shocking, because I was just sitting here feeling sorry for poor Sharon. I was thinking, what a way to lose your virginity, because up until that point, I figured this was her first time at the relations. Saving herself for someone or someone's special. But no, she's done it before. She was arrested for, quote, similar public conduct, end quote, a few months ago. Just a few months ago. So then they provided a link in this story where you could go and look at their mug shots. And boy, are they supermodels. Whew. Now, here's something that always makes me mad. I'm looking at the guys right now in these mug shots. And whenever we find these stories of people just being complete uncivilized losers, criminals, which I think is fair to say that all three of these people are uncivilized losers. If it's noon and you're in a supermarket, grocery store parking lot having a threesome, I picture it being in the back of a pickup. I don't know why, because I don't think it said in the story. But I look at these guys, and they're ugly, gross looking, dirty looking, but they both have thick heads of hair. What a waste. Sitting here as somebody who has lost his hair. The Lord took it from me. Yet, knowing that the Lord works in mysterious ways, he allowed these ugly, uncivilized losers to both have a thick head of hair. And one of them's older than I am. Life is cruel sometimes, isn't it? Now, the woman, this Sharon, bless her heart, there are no redeeming physical qualities about her. Nothing that any of you ladies listening would be upset by, to be able to say, this loser, uncivilized criminal woman has better blank than mine. No, you're safe there. But both of these men have much better hair than I do. It's just a waste. What a waste. And you know what else I kind of feel that way with is if a guy has really thick hair and he shaves his head. To me, as a follically challenged person, if I see that where you can tell, you can see the stubble around the guy's got he would have a thick head of hair if he didn't shave his head. To me, that is like having a perfectly good working pair of legs and choosing to walk around on crutches or in a wheelchair. That's the equivalent to me. You got thick, luxurious hair as a man and you shave it, then I think at that point the Lord should just go ahead and take it from you. Now, are these opinions extreme? No, not at all. You know who would say they're extreme? People who have all their hair. That's who. But I mean, seriously, why do these ugly, loser, uncivilized people, what good is that hair going to do them? Because this woman, the type of, the caliber of relations that they're looking to have, this woman wouldn't care if they had hair or not. Wouldn't care if they had an ear in the middle of their forehead. She's just looking for the sex. She's looking for the relations. I mean, it's not like they're going and having to try to find quality women who would be judgmental about them not having hair. No. I mean, they're just rolling up on some old gal in the parking lot of the grocery store. They're saying, hey, you want to get in the back of my truck with me and my buddy? And she's like, yeah, okay, yeah. We got a fifth of Evan Williams and a couple of sun drops. We'll make a party out of this, girl. Okay. And you know it was hot in the back of that truck in the Florida Keys, humid. You know they were stinking. Yet, both men have a nice thick head of hair. What a waste. What a waste. But life can play cruel tricks on us. And I know you're thinking, all right, well, okay, the Lord took your hair away, but you still have those awesome green eyes and you got good teeth and other, attractive qualities. You just don't have the hair. But the hair is everything. You can take an ugly person and give them thick hair and style it all up and spike it onto an ugly man, spike his hair all up, and and it's kind of like increasing the cool looks of a new truck by putting some wheels on it that are sharp. Tires and wheels will make a vehicle go to not just the next level, but 10 levels. You can drive it off the lot. It's a brand new fancy truck. Drive it off the lot straight to a tire store, put some tires and wheels on it that look cool, and it elevates that thing, not, jacking it up, but elevates the looks of it tremendously. Same with hair on a man. You take some old ugly man, but he's got a thick head of hair that you can spike up and do different things with it. That ugly man will turn into relatively not hideous quickly. And you ever notice that in commercials and TV shows and all, they never make the bald guy the one in charge? The bald guy is always the idiot. Well, first of all, the man in commercials and stuff, man is always the idiot. If it's a commercial with a man and a woman, it's the, it's the level of target in the ads. White, straight man, always going to be at the bottom, and then they go up from there. And white, straight, bald man is always like it's under the bottom rung on the ladder. It's in the ground. Nobody respects us unless we're playing the villain in a movie or a TV show. They put the bald guy with the shaved head, tough guy. But other than that, we're the laughing stock of the entertainment industry. But I ain't bitter about it. Hey, I'm going to send off to, they have these ads on social media that pop up all the time where I think it's Turkey or somewhere like that, where they have these very, very realistic looking toupees and wigs and stuff. I'm going to get me some. I don't know how long it would take Amazon to get it here from Turkey, but it looks better even than the visor that has the hair attached to it. It looks even better than that, and that looks really good. So natural. But Make fun of it if you will, but I would rather have hair that looked fake than no hair at all. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. And hold it in for a long time before you exhale. That's the way the kids do it. All right, Mark Levin is coming up next. God loves you. Ain't nothing you can do about it. See you tomorrow.
It's TJ Ritchie.